Hello everyone, here on Satya. So this is a follow-up from my last video where I told you that I was going to make this video about ayahuasca. And what I want to share with you on this video is actually what I believe to be the most important thing I learned from doing ayahuasca. The most valuable lesson that ayahuasca taught me. So when we come back into our world, right, and face all our problems and have to deal with, all our issues and all our problems, how it is something you can actually remember and use, and it can help you so much, so much. So I'm going to share with you. So I know right now you must be asking yourself, what is that thing she have right next to her, right? Like a doll, like what do you have a doll with you? And I have this doll with me because I am going to use this doll to show you in a more visual way the teachings of ayahuasca. Because sometimes when we are visual, when we put samples to things, then we can understand so much better. And I made it myself, and I know it's not really well made, but the most important thing is the meaning, what it means, what it symbolizes, the symbolism of this doll. Okay, so let's get started. Sometimes you feel um, sometimes you feel down, sometimes you feel overwhelming with sadness, sometimes you feel like, when you feel anxiety and it's like a very heavy feeling on your chest and it makes you feel very bad, but you don't really know how to stop it or what is creating it, right? Or all of the sudden you start to have very negative thoughts and you really don't know where they're coming from, or why all of a sudden, or why you thinking so much negative thoughts or negative thinkings all the time. Why, for example, it's easier sometimes to cut ourselves thinking a lot more negatively than positively. And I am going to show you why that happens. So I remember perfectly one day we were a group of people and we were to the retreat center to do ayahuasca. And before we doing ayahuasca, we were in the kitchen table, kind of like this setting actually, and the ayahuasquera, she have a doll, very well made actually, not like this, but very nice, very well made. A doll like this on the table, and she asked us to sit around. So I'm gonna try to recreate what she teaches us and convey that to you, okay? So imagine this is you. This is you, this is me, this is any person in the world. A person might look, like a really good, like a very happy on the outside. But then what is happening on the inside is a completely different story. So then what she did is this. She lifted the little dress, and under her dress, this is our inside, right? And under the dress, it was all these very ugly faces and very ugly, like people with very angry faces. I tried to recreate that the best that I could. As you can see, I have the red one is a really big, monster. And then, I put balls and I paint like a very ugly, very sad faces. What that symbolizes, what this symbolizes is what we holding inside of us, right? So this is anger, this is sadness, this is that person that we really, really, really hate, or that we really, really, really feel so much pain towards them. And we spend so much time thinking about that person, about what they did to us, or about what they don't do than we would like them to do, and it takes so much of our time and so much of our energy and so much of our life force. So what we don't know, and that's where ayahuasca and when shamanism, it teaches you, is that when you give your energy, your thoughts, your power onto something or someone, what you are giving them is life, right? It's like when they say, somebody's living rent-free in your head. But it's something like that, but in a bigger metaphysical way of putting it. It's a lot more than that, because in shamanism, they see it and they teach you that that becomes an entity because you're giving them life. The more we think about it, the more time and energy that we give to it, the more we feed in them. But when you are thinking constantly about something or someone that brings you a lot of pain or a lot of sorrow, or when you hold resentment against somebody, or when you hold hunger, you are feeding that energy, you are feeding that entity, and then it takes you giving it life. The more you feed it, the more life you give to it, and the more space it takes inside of you. So the more it takes space, the more space it takes inside of you, is filling it with darkness, and is filling it with heaviness, and is filling it with negative energy. And the more than you inside is filled with negative energy and with negative emotion, all of these things that you see here, they are living inside of us, and we are feeding them on a daily basis with our thoughts, with our energy, and that makes them bigger and makes them more powerful and makes them to have more influence over ourselves. And when these entities, these energies have more influence over ourselves, is what start taking our life force out of us, and is depleting of our energy force, and is depleting us of our light and of our power, because we are feeding all that to them. Do you know what these energies feed? Our animals, ourselves, with fruits, vegetables, uh, chicken. People eat meat, right? Do you know what the entities eat? Do you know how do you feed them? They eat of your emotions. You feed them by thinking constantly about them. So if you keep, like in my case, and sometimes I forgot. So this is what I was telling you on my last video when I tell you how much ayahuasca helped me. Because in my normal life, I look like that, right? And when I start to feel, or for example, I will speak with somebody of my family, or somebody of my family, or my father will do something that I will see in social media, and it will totally give me PTSD, you know what I mean? Or something like that. And of course, then I will start thinking about it, and then you kind of get lost into it, and that's how you start feeding your entity. That's how you start giving your energy and your power away. And that's what brings you down. That's what makes you feel down. So the most important thing, when I will feel like that, I will go to do ayahuasca, right? And aside of the experience that she will taught me that day, the number one thing that I have always experienced in every single ayahuasca ceremony that I have done is that through the purging is not a fun experience by any means. It's not something joyful at all. It can be really, really, really scary actually, and you go through hell actually. So it's not for the fainted heart, and it's not just for anybody, to do ayahuasca, that's for sure. And you have to do it by all means with somebody who is a shaman. No, like in these days, that somebody go and do a course and you become certified shaman in a month. Oh my God, never ever, stay away. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna tell you, please stay away from people like that, because ayahuasca is something serious. It's not something that you just do with, a Western person that decide to become shaman and took a month, course in the jungle and came back here and now is a professional shaman. I'm prepared to give ayahuasca. Oh my God, stay away from that. Absolutely. No. No, please, no. So when I will go, to do ayahuasca, I will purge and I will purge and it will be horrible and bitter and painful. But you feel like everything, all your anger, all the negativity, all the entities, all the monsters, and all the ugly things that we carry inside and that we have inside. It's like we purge them. It's like she take it away from us and just we purge them. And then this becomes empty, right? Empty of the negativity, empty of the entities, becomes empty of the entities. They gone, they not there. And what happens when this becomes empty? Then you feel then you feel so peaceful. You feel, imagine like if you empty your closet and you paint your closet and you like redo your closet, and then when you open the doors, they feel like joyful, new, renewed, beautiful, like so much space to be filled with beautiful things, right? With things that makes you happy. So instead of thinking of bags and purses and clothes, it's good experience and smiles and happiness and laughter and good friends and a new idea and a new project that I did, and you busy doing that, right? And you feel so good until something happens. So then, we start, or you get a phone call, or somebody do something really horrible and terrible to you. So the people in your life that have really hurt you do something to hurt you even more. And of course, that affects you. And the one thing, that ayahuasca teaches you is that you have to be aware of that. You have to be conscious of that, because these entities are really, really powerful. So the most important thing that we can do is exactly that, is remember this teaching. Remember that this is us. And remember that our natural state of being is whole, is with the space. So then we can fill it up with the things that make us happy, the things that bring us joy. And when you cut yourself, right, thinking already about somebody, then you should be thinking about it, because it's a completely waste of your time, and because there is absolutely nothing that is going to change that situation or that person. There is no healing gonna come from it, and some people are going to never change in their life. So what is the point of thinking about that constantly, or of giving so much of your energy right to that person, to that thought, because the only one that is being affected negatively is you. It's not helping you in any way, and it's taking your time, it's taking your light, it's taking your energy, and it's making you feel really bad. So ayahuasca teaches us that when we start feeling heavy, when we start feeling influenced, right, by all these energies, by all these entities that are keeping so much space right in our head, then we remember this, and then we remember that we're the one who have the power, not them. We're the one who have the power, but we need to raise our power. We need to voice our power. So if, for example, I find myself being influenced by my own entities, then I remember and I say, oh, okay, I see, oh, you want me to feed you? Not today. Not today, Satan, not today. And then I go, and immediately do something that I want and make me feel good, like making jewelry or going to the beach, or, or doing gardening, or doing something that I love to do. Because by doing that, you are cutting that cord where you're feeding the entity, you are cutting that, and then you're redirecting your energy into something more positive, into something good and something healthy and beautiful that is going to make you feel better. The more we are aware of this, the better we become at it. And then as soon as we find ourselves influenced by the negative entities and we don't want them and we don't need them in our lives because they don't bring anything good and anything positive, right? The more we become aware of that, that's how we recover and regain our power. And then we have the power to say, not today, not today. And maybe tomorrow, when it happens again, it reminds you again, like, oh, okay, here they are, and not again. And I am going to be very honest with you. This video is, I'm doing it actually even more for myself than for anybody else. I'm sharing with you what ayahuasca, teach me. But I'm doing this for me more than even for anybody else, because you even somebody like myself, that I have done ayahuasca for so many years, and then I have, studied shamanism, and then I have done so many things, and I studied with the elders in Hawaii, and I know so many techniques and so many things, that have taught me, to combat that, to bring light, to combat the dark with the light, right? To combat darkness with light and negativity with positivity, and all of the tools, right, and I have accumulated through the years, and that have helped me a lot, to cope with my depressions or with the moments, of anxiety or things like that. And lately, I have apparently, no, it's not that. And lately, for the past few years, actually, I kind of have forgot that myself. Even myself, I forgot that. And what I have done is to allow my entities, I have kept feeding my entities more and more and more. And I dwelled on the pain and I dwell on the experiences. So I have been lately thinking a lot about that, and I forgot that the more than I think about it, the more than I am feeding my entities, and the more the entities, become bigger and bigger and more powerful and more influential, and more light took out of me, and more depressive I start feeling, and less motivated, and stop doing any social media and any videos, and I stop, doing a lot of things. So this video, honestly, is an amazing thing for me to do now, because it's really a reminder that we have the powers not to sometimes maybe completely, remove something from your life, because you can, right? You can, your family is your family, and whether, it's an amazing or it's not, but your family is your family. And sometimes there are things that they're going to be there for the rest of your life. So the important thing is to learn how to cope with that. The important thing is to learn how these things that we have in our life and that we know, right, that affect us in a not very positive way, to know how to control them, so at least to keep them at bay, so we can balance that negative and positive. I think this lesson in this, like, not very well made doll, but it's so important, and I hope that you understand the essence of what I'm trying to convey here. How we do have the power, which we forget many times, like I have been forgetting myself lately. How do we have the power to say no? No, enough, and then redirect that. And the more we do, we become, better at it. So maybe, okay, I'm not gonna ask you to make yourself, something like this to keep at home, so it can remind you of these, teachings from ayahuasca, or, I love it myself, and I know it was not very well made. And I mean, wait, what a second, I'm gonna show you the bag. Look, because it's a jar. I got a jar from like the dollar store, and a doll, and then I just kind of like so whatever, and then inside I put like my ugly entities and little monsters and all those things that affect us really really bad. But I love it, and I have it right there on my bookshelf, and I made it recently. Let me be honest with you. I made it better recently for that because I kind of like myself needed to be reminded of this. I have been giving a lot of energy and I have been feeding my entities a lot lately. And that has not taken me to a good place. It has got me deep into states of depression again. So I made it so I could remind myself, and I also made it so I could make this video to show you and to share with you, and to hopefully, um, this be something that could be helpful to you, and then you can remember as well. Because to be very honest with you, when you really think about this, it's powerful stuff. Is very real. So anyway, I really hope that this video is helpful to you, and that's it. I really hope that this video is helpful to you. I really do.